Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Popeye's Scary Good new Freddy Fazbear Box has garlic palm tenders and cheesy bites with marinara sauce. Try it before it's too late. And see Five Nights at Freddy's 2, only in theaters. Love that chicken from Popeyes. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants.
Feisty, fearless, and fair. She's an Emmy-winning journalist from the White House to war zones, telling all sides of the story. This is the Rita Cosby Show.
Tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, is he nuts? That's my question. Is Zoran Mandani, the mayor-elect of New York City, just downright loony? And I have to say that because some of these things that we're hearing are scary and they're downright dangerous for New York. We heard a lot of it on the campaign trail, and you're wondering, okay, was it rhetoric on the campaign trail? No. This guy is a true believer, and that means true trouble for New York City. And just a little bit ago, he made some comments about Netanyahu, saying that, yeah, he's going to abide by the International Criminal Court. And that means that he would arrest Netanyahu if he comes to New York City. I mean, this is crazy. Netanyahu, of course, earlier this week, coming out and saying, I'm still coming to New York City. He's the prime minister of Israel. And you have the mayor-elect of New York City, a Democratic socialist, coming out and saying, oh, no, if he comes here, we're going to treat him like Putin. This is one of our greatest allies. But this guy not only has Trump derangement syndrome, he definitely has Netanyahu derangement syndrome. So we're going to talk about that because it really is incredible. He is not backing away. If anything, he is doubling down and maybe even tripling down in so many ways. Then also Zoran Mandani also came out with another zinger in the last 24 hours, saying that he won't continue the sweeps of those homeless encampments, the tents, that many people say really is a great just deterioration of the quality of life. If you look and you walk by and you see these big homeless encampments with tents and all these other things, you think that that's an appealing sight? Stepping on what, syringes? And for some reason he's saying, no, that's not nice to do to the homeless, that essentially we have to leave them where they are. He said this is not a solution. Well, what's the solution? To just leave it there so everyday New Yorkers are going to see these individuals? It's going to turn off. It's going to scare people. It's going to be crime havens. It's going to be drug havens. And I guess that's okay, right? As long as a homeless person wants to sleep outside. Now, let's not forget Eric Adams went to these encampments and said, no, we're going to break them down. We're going to bust these encampments and we're going to try to move them to shelters. We're going to force them essentially into shelters because first of all, it's freezing cold outside. So I would say that's a good humanitarian move. And how is it nice to keep people sleeping outside in these massive tent encampments and, having them live among us when a lot of them are high. A lot of them are really on some very significant drugs. A lot of them have massive mental illness. And I'm all for helping these people, but get them off the streets. How is letting them sleep on the streets? How is that helping them? I don't think so. And how is that helping the rest of us? Well, it doesn't sound like Zoran Mandani cares about the rest of us. And that sort of fits with par for the course of where this guy is going. And boy, I thought this guy was going to be dangerous. This guy is going to be reckless and dangerous. And buckle up, New York City. Boy, oh boy. Here he is just a little bit ago talking about this gobbledygook. Listen to this word salad answer, guys, that he gives about the encampments with homeless individuals. and sort of his weird answer to it and why he says he doesn't want to knock down these tent cities. I guess he thinks they're beautiful.
If you are not connecting homeless New Yorkers to the housing that they so desperately need, then you cannot deem anything you're doing to be a success. We are going to take an approach that understands its mission is connecting those New Yorkers to housing, whether it's supportive housing, whether it's rental housing, whatever kind of housing it is. Because what we have seen is the treatment of homelessness as if it is a natural part of living in this city, when in fact it's more often a reflection of a political choice being made time and time again.
Right, Nick, go ahead.
Did that make any sense to anybody out there? Maybe you can translate it, because I'm having a little trouble understanding his word salads, which is, I think, the whole point of it all. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. And you are listening to The Rita Cosby Show. Well, Mayor Eric Adams, who is still currently the mayor, remember, until January 1st, he says this is so dangerous. This will destroy the quality of life in New York. And it's very rare, even though Mayor Eric Adams and Mondani certainly don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. And certainly, when it comes to immigration, when it comes to crime fighting, there's a whole bunch of different nuances clearly between the two, or huge differences even. Support of Jewish population. There are so many issues here. And Mayor Eric Adams, despite all that, a lot of times when a mayor's going out, they kind of don't want to take a swipe at another mayor, even if the guy is loony or saying dangerous, crazy things. Often they kind of bite their tongue or kind of hint at something. Well, there's no hinting on this. Listen to Mayor Eric Adams, and he put out a statement just a little bit ago, a video statement, saying there is nothing sympathetic, there is nothing compassionate, there is nothing right about the fact that Zoran Mondani wants to knock down and essentially stop these sweeps that Eric Adams has had in place of these homeless encampments. In other words, he wants to keep them up, and Mayor Eric Adams says, no, this is not a good move for New York.
Earlier today, Mayor-elect Zoran Mondani announced that once he takes office on January 1st, he'll stop sweeping homeless encampments across our city. I won't criticize him on every issue, but when a policy harms New Yorkers, I have to speak up. Showing compassion for those sleeping on the streets is not a sweep. It is humane. Ending this action will create a quality of life nightmare. Just look at cities that allow encampments and you'll see the damage. Worse, leaving people to suffer in the cold isn't just neglectful, it's a disgrace. Throughout the last close to 4 years, I was adamant about cleaning those encampments because we cannot tolerate a city that turns a blind eye to human suffering. I urge the incoming administration to rethink this, and I urge New Yorkers to raise their voices. Let's call it what it is. Labeling the abandonment of our homeless neighbors as progress is a slap in the face to real progress. It's not just misguided, it's shameful, and we need to call it out for the disgrace that it is.
Bravo to Mayor Eric Adams, because it is a disgrace. And to sit there and say, okay, well, we're just going to let them stay out, and that is progress, that's being compassionate, that's not helping them. And it's certainly not helping, again, the citizens of New York City, the other citizens. It's not right for the homeless, and it's not right for us. But it fits a lot with what Zoran Mondani has said, and he was talking about even in recent days. It seems like everything he is doing, I haven't heard of a plan yet that I like, that he has said. I'm trying to think if there's something that he said. He's got a nice smile, has a good head of hair. Other than that, I can't really think. I guess I've seen a nice tie or two on him. I can't think of anything else. And that's pretty sad. I'm usually a glass half full kind of gal. I'm usually positive. Tony's shaking his head. He agrees. But it's true. I can't think of anything. I'm usually like, sympathetic. I'm sympathetic saying he's got a nice smile. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. And it fits with what Zoran Mondani said about blocking ICE. He said he's going to keep the homeless encampments, right? He wants to divest and do everything against Israel. He wants to arrest Netanyahu. And he also will not have NYPD help at all with ICE because he thinks they're the villains versus the criminals. Listen to this.
When I met with the president, I made very clear that these kinds of raids are cruel and inhumane, that they are raids that do nothing to serve the interests of public safety, and that my responsibility is to be the mayor to each and every person that calls this city their home. And that includes millions of immigrants, of which I am one.
I mean, that's amazing. And the question was, will you help NYPD to maybe somehow cooperate with ICE, especially if it's criminal migrants? And the answer was this blanket under no uncertain terms. Wouldn't you have loved to have been a fly on the wall to watch President Trump's reaction on the phone? He's probably was laughing on the other end, like, who is this guy? And here is Zoran Mondani. He was at Columbia. And you have to hear this. This wasn't that long ago. And this whole, keep the homeless encampments, block ICE at every turn. It fits with the same guy who in the past repeatedly said defund the police. It's in writing, whereas associates have said America deserved 9/11, and where he also said, who needs jails? Let's just open it all up and just let them roam wild. This is Zoran Mondani not that long ago.
The jail population of Rikers has increased since Eric Adams has come into office by more than 1,000 additional incarcerated New Yorkers. And what is quite staggering to me is that we know that we can reduce that jail population to less than 4,000. I mean, Vital City had an article about a number of different proposals that could reduce it to 3,700. And some of this also just has to look at the average stay on Rikers in the 90s was 50 days. Now it's more than 100. There are more than 1,500 people on Rikers who have been held there for more than a year. So I do think many of the reforms that have to be made are also reforms around the court system and ensuring that people are actually having
ensuring people have speedy trials. And that's all well and good. But then he's also talked about, a lack of carceration, a no need. What do you need jails for? He's made those comments as well. And here he is talking about, clear as day, defund the police and also allocating to social services. We're one big social experiment for this guy.
About defund the NYPD, the entirety of the push is defund the NYPD and refund all of these different social services and things that actually create safety.
Now changing his tune, claiming he doesn't want to defund the police.
I've been very clear about my view of public safety and the critical role that police have in creating that. The vision that we've put forward in this campaign, despite what others may say, is not to defund the police. It is, in fact, to allow those officers to respond to these serious crimes that many of them signed up to address.
Yeah. So what? They want to be social workers and babysitters? 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Sandra on line 5. Sandra, your thoughts tonight.
Oh, good evening, Rita. I was laughing when you were talking about Mandami's smile. I was thinking we were talking today on the radio about Ilhan Omar. She has that same devious smile. So beware of that smile, Rita. And then I was thinking how sad this is what's going to happen. San Francisco was once my favorite city to visit. Rita, you couldn't pay me to go there now, and that's what's going to happen in New York City. And I'm brokenhearted. What can I say? And if he has compassion for people, he would want to see them in shelters and in places where they could stay warm and safe, not in the streets. I don't understand that at all.
And especially right now where it's absolutely freezing.
I know.
and I really do say it twofold. First, I don't think, it's nice for them. I think they need to get help. And they need to get warmth. on a time like that where it's freezing. And I also think, how does that help the quality of life, for them? And how does it help the quality of life for other New Yorkers? I mean, people don't want to walk by big tent cities. You brought up a great example there, Sandra, of San Francisco, where it's gone just, you see these tent cities. And, San Francisco used to be a beautiful city, like you said. I love San Francisco. Yeah. But now it's a dump. And it's, how sad is that? Like, where there's so many drug dealers, and I know people walk by, they see the syringes all over the place. And I don't understand how anybody could say, hey, it's a good thing in New York. Like, that's the solution, is to just allow them, that it's more humane if they don't want to voluntarily come to a shelter, that unless they're doing it all on their own. And the reality is these people don't want to go. A lot of them have mental health or don't know how to get there in terms of like emotionally. So anything you can do to help them along and have them, first of all, survive and get the help they need. That to me is a compassionate New Yorker. And it really is extraordinary, what we're hearing. I mean, it sounds so reckless. It sounds so dangerous. And I love your line, Sandra, essentially, do not succumb to the smile. We will not. We know the message behind the smile. It's all smoke and mirrors. And, sadly, New York may not be smiling after January 1st. Sandra, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. We'll continue your calls, everybody, after the break. 1-800-848-9222. And you're listening to The Rita Cosby Show.
Rita Cosby is on.
Well, you heard from Sandra. Don't succumb to the smile. 1-800-848-9222. And she's talking about Zoran Mondani. Let's go to Stephen from the Bronx, line 3. Stephen, your thoughts?
Yeah, hi, Rita. It's gotten to a point where I've worked since I'm 14 years old. I'm now retired. I've got the money. I'm moving the hell out of here. There's nothing in the city to fight for. And every time I look out the window, I see these people who voted for him. Their hatred for Trump is more than I can take. That's what this guy ran on. He hates whites. He hates Jews. He's a jihadist maniac. And he's totally going to turn the city upside down. And these people just walk around with a stupid mask on, not knowing what the hell is not knowing what the hell is happening. They don't know. They don't care. I'm done. I've had it. I can't stand the stupidity anymore, and this guy's going to turn the city.
So let me ask you, Stephen, are you thinking about moving? Is that what you're saying?
I am getting the hell out of New York.
Wow, where are you going?
I am going to either Florida or Texas.
Can you take all of us with you? Can you take all of us with you? Stephen, we didn't hear you. But we want to go with you. Take us. Or maybe we'll fight.
It's the Rita Cosby Show.
And this Back of the Blue segment coming from Clinton, South Carolina, where a woman who was reported missing is alive today thanks to what police describe as pure persistence, teamwork, and a final sweep of a partially collapsed building deep in the woods. Officers worked well beyond their shifts, battling darkness, frigid temperatures, also lots of period of rain. They combed through the wooded areas, vacant homes, and rugged terrain. And a bloodhound team also went out and searched the area. Then hours later into the next day, a fresh shift of officers returned to recheck a partially collapsed structure. And that was a decision that proved critical. A local lieutenant spotted a small window on the side of the building, and he decided to look inside, and that's when he saw this woman. He said he was so happy. I was extremely proud of my team because we did not give up. We didn't have to be asked to do this. we wanted to go and do this. And he said to make somebody happy right before Christmas, to know that their family member is back home, that makes me so happy. The woman, by the way, was alive but suffering from very severe hypothermia. She was removed safely from that very unstable structure, and then she was taken to a local hospital for emergency care, but is said to be recuperating and will be home for Christmas, thanks to the men and women in blue. And by the way, everybody, speaking about making Christmas special, join Red Apple Audio Network's AARP New York City, the Police Athletic League, Gristides and D'Agostino supermarkets, and nationwide imaging services as we deliver holiday meals to more than 5,000 families across the city. So go to redappleaudionetworks.com/turkey this holiday season. Help the Red Apple Audio Networks feed those in need. Your donation helps put a meal on the table of a family in need, and there's nothing better than that. That is redappleaudionetworks.com/turkey to bring joy to others this holiday season. And everybody, we're talking about Zoran Mandani and his crazy plan to stop the sweeps of homeless encampments. In other words, keep them there. Zoran Mandani says that's fine for them and it's fine for the rest of the city. He also, just a little bit ago, this guy is really incredible. He was asked about Netanyahu, and that's because earlier in the week, this is what Benjamin Netanyahu said to an earlier claim. Remember, Mandani said that if he came to New York, he would have him arrested, and he based it on this very fringe international criminal court, which clearly has a political vendetta against, of course, Israel in every shape and form, almost like the UN also has the same thing. But take a listen. Here's what Benjamin Netanyahu said earlier in the week. And tonight, Zoran Mandani responded. Here's Netanyahu.
The International Criminal Court has an arrest warrant out for you, which of course alleges that you conducted war crimes. In New York City, right here where I am, the mayor-elect, Zoran Mandani, says that he would comply with the ICC and he would arrest you. We've long wanted to do one of these interviews in person right here in New York.
By the way, I didn't answer your question, Andrew. I'll come to New York. Okay.
And that was my question. Would you come to New York, given what the mayor has said about arresting you?
Yes, of course I will.
And you will test that? I mean, what is the thought about how that would work?
Well, why don't you wait and see? Yes, I'll come to New York. Okay.
Would you want to talk to him, by the way?
Well, if he changes his mind and says that we have the right to exist, that'll be a good opening for a conversation.
Bravo to Prime Minister Netanyahu. Yeah, wait. No, I'm coming to New York, and I'm willing to talk with him if he recognizes Israel. Otherwise, what is there to discuss with this guy? But he's not backing down. Why should he? He's a world leader. And so Zoran Mandani tonight was asked about that comment that you just heard from Prime Minister Netanyahu. And he said, this is sort of his word salad answer. This is a city. We follow city law, state, and international criminal law. In other words, he's going back to that crazy decision by the International Criminal Court to arrest, Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu. And he says, I treat Netanyahu and Putin all the same, and it's important we uphold the law. Now, if it wasn't against Israel, do you think he'd be upholding that law? He'd say, oh, that's a terrible, crazy thing. It's a crazy thing anyway. It's International Criminal Court, some fringe court. But he's using his own twisted view of Israel and the Democratic Socialist view of Israel, which is anti-Israel everything, it seems, the whole boycott, divest, and sanction, BDS movement. And he's using the whole International Criminal Court like cover. And it's no surprise because this is a guy who has railed against Israel and anything tied to Israel for many, many years. This is the fiber of his being. And here he is. It wasn't this long ago. Here he is revving up the crowd. This is in the past. And everything was, Israel's terrible. U.S. shouldn't help Israel. So this guy is a true believer. Listen to this.
Hello, everyone! Who is ready to end U.S. military Mamdani. I am the assembly member for the 36th district here in New York State. That is Astoria and Long Island City. And I am proud to be here at this protest. I am proud to stand unapologetically for the freedom of Palestinians. It is at the core of my politics.
It's at the core of his politics. He's telling us, and he keeps repeating it. And guess what? He's going to be the mayor of New York in less than a month. If that doesn't frighten you, I don't know what does. 1-800-848-9222. Steve, who just called before, said he's leaving. I'm hoping he's going to take us with him, because boy, this is going to be a mess. Let's go to Mike in New Jersey. Go ahead, Mike.
Hi, Rita. I have two things. First, I'm a history teacher, and we've long known that the United States wasn't going to be defeated from without, but only from within. And our enemies are here, and they're within, and they want to destroy our country and destroy our way of life. People need to wake up.
Now, let me ask you, hang on one sec. What grade do you teach? Are you high school or junior or what? Okay, high school. So let me ask you, one of the things that Steve said, and we had a hard break, so I couldn't hear much more of Steve. But I thought what he had to say was so powerful. Steve was talking about how he just can't stand it. He said, I'm walking down the street and I'm seeing these people. And I think a lot of young people, I mean, what do the kids in your school say about, I don't know, about Mamdani, about these pro-Palestinian protests? What are their thoughts? Because they seem to be leading the charge, and they also seem to be, getting indoctrinated in many ways and getting inspired. I mean, they're the ones who are out there waving the pro-Palestinian flags, saying, October 7th wasn't that bad. I mean, I never imagined that in my wildest dreams. I can't imagine you as a teacher there and knowing the history and knowing, what this country has gone through in the past and what other countries have gone through in the past.
Well, I'm fortunate. I teach in a private school, a faith-based school.
Lucky you. Beautiful. Beautiful.
We don't change history. We talk about real history. Our students are, like I said, is a very realistic view of the world, unlike a lot of young people. And I'm hopeful that I can teach factually, not slanting it either way, but factually, and they can understand the truth when they make their own decisions.
Bravo. That's great. And you know what? We need more teachers like you. And we also need more parents who put students in that kind of a school with great values. I mean, how important is it, Mike, sharing those values? Like you said, if it's a faith-based school, sharing those values with young people, steering them in the right direction versus, I bring up like even Columbia University and some of these others. Some of the teachers were the first ones who were protesting, and joining the crowd. Like, so if you're a student and you see your teacher out there, you go, oh, well, maybe that's cool. So how important is great mentorship, especially, and how many other sort of faith-based schools are like that in your community?
I don't know how many more are. I mean, I spent most of my career in public school, and now I'm in private school. And like I said, it is a blessing to be able to share faith regularly. It's also a blessing to be able to share truth, and understand, our kids understand that there is truth, and there's true and there's false. It's not up to individuals. God has an absolute truth, and that's what we are able to teach our kids. And like I said, they use that as the basis to make their own decisions. I'm not telling them politically what side they should be on. That's their decision to make. But we do concentrate, and as a Christian person, that, look, God has an absolute truth. You use that truth to make your decisions and what you believe. That's not for me to teach you. But we do talk about understanding that there is right, there is wrong, there's true, there is false.
Bravo. That's beautiful. And that is such an important component, I think, of everything, that faith having the root. It sounds like you're just doing a beautiful job. Mike, thank you.
It. Yeah, Can I give you my other point?
Yeah, sure. Quick? Go ahead.
I think Mr. Mamdani needs to understand that the United States is a sovereign nation. We answer to no one. and that as a citizen, which allegedly he is under the sovereign power of the United States, which is led by our president. And as Prime Minister Netanyahu comes to New York, I would suggest to President Trump that he provide a significant contingent of Marines to escort him. And let's make sure that Mr. Montcalm knows who's in charge in this country and what this country's about. That would be my suggestion to the president as to how to handle his alliance to an international kangaroo court.
I mean, it is incredible, Mike, to your point that this guy, the mayor of New York with these crazy views, keeps pushing this, and he tripled down tonight about the arresting, Netanyahu. I think I'll do one better. I actually think he should go for, like a lunch somewhere near Gracie Mansion, the mayor's residence, or maybe go to Queens, go to locations where Mamdani knows well. And hang out there. Because to me, it is so shocking. I think he should show up near the, inauguration and be treated like the dignitary that he is, Netanyahu. You got a world leader in town and he should stare right at him. So Mamdani knows, the world is watching this guy and he is not afraid of him. To me, that would be such a powerful message. I love the fact that, Netanyahu came back and made those statements at the New York Times. What did you think of that, Mike? To me, that was like priceless. That he was like, even the New York Times guy didn't even get the question. And he's like, wait. I actually want to answer the question. Like he could not wait to answer the question because he wanted the world to know he is not backing down in any sense.
Israel has never been afraid of anybody, and I don't expect the prime minister to be afraid of anyone, especially someone so insignificant as Mamdani. The mayor of New York is, in the big picture, nothing to him.
Right. He's a little gnat. He is a little gnat, 100%. Mike, thank you very much. Great points. I love it. Let's go to Norm on line 5. Go ahead, Norm. You're listening to the Rita Cosby Show.
Yes, Rita. Okay, I'm listening to all these people that don't live in New York talking about what could happen, how they would react to it.
So you're a Brooklyn guy. I'm born Garrettson Beach. Go ahead, Norm.
I know. I worked your area quite a bit. So anyway, I'm not going crazy here. Okay, I'm not going crazy. Okay, I ain't going anywhere. Okay, I mean, it's got to get pretty damn bad to drive me out. Okay, and I'm going to keep living my life, keep doing my thing, and that's it. I ain't going anywhere.
By the way, I think most New Yorkers are not, Norm. I think most are not. But I also understand those that are just so shocked. Right. It is shocking.
Right. Well, let's see if they go. Okay. Look, I often quote something from MASH. The actor Alan Arbus, who played Dr. Sidney Friedman, would often say when Hawkeye and the gang there would go crazy, he would say, "Ladies and gentlemen, take my advice. Take down your pants and slide on the ice." Okay. Which is, so basically that's it. We all need to there's nothing we can do. Just take down our pants and slide on the ice, metaphorically, and, or in reality.
Well, hopefully metaphorically, hopefully. By the way, Norm, and I do believe in the theory, and we've talked about this even on Katz and Cosby. We talk about the fight. Mm-hmm. To me, I think you got to fight back against this. I think you take the Netanyahu approach. Netanyahu is saying, I'm not going anywhere. In fact, I'm going to come to New York. He's pushing it. I think, when you have somebody whose policies are not good for the city and for the community at large, and I believe a number of things that, I honestly was trying to think of what I like about Mamdani, and I'm having a hard time. I think he ran a good campaign. He got young people engaged. Right. And I wish the world was such that you could give a whole bunch of free stuff to people, but it's not realistic. And when it comes to the free buses, I believe it's utterly dangerous because you're going to have people sleep on it. So I I'm searching for something, and I guess the smile. I go back to the smile, and I guess I go back to getting young people engaged in the process, even though I think they made a very poor choice with him. I wish it was somebody who had family, values that I thought were not destructive to New York City. Then I'd say it's a home run. But I think you got to stay and fight. I agree with you. And I think you got to sit and say, wait, this is not tolerant. This is not the right thing. This is because otherwise, you're going to have future Mondanis too. It needs, if it's a crazy process, he needs to know there'll be resistance against it and that people are not just going to take it laying down and say, okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll have homeless encampments. Great. Oh yeah, we'll have this. Oh yeah, great. Keep it coming. Yeah, we'll divest out of anything Israeli. Sure. And I mean, I'm going to be really curious to see. I actually think he is going to be a true believer. I've always said this. And anybody who says that this guy is, sort of like a Bill de Blasio, I think this guy is, there's a hardcore difference with this guy and his policies. To me, it's a whole new cat, and we'll have to follow it closely, Norm. But I'm glad you're staying in the fight with me. 1-800-848-9222. And everybody, we will continue after the break.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
And by the way, today I had the tremendous honor of being the MC for the 38th annual Federal Law Enforcement Foundation Luncheon. It was amazing. About 1,000 of the top law enforcement officials in the country, whether it's the DEA, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Customs and Border Protection, the FBI, state police, state troopers, those who oversee the airports. It was really just a gift for me to be there in the company of true heroes, a community of heroes who go there every day to work to keep us all safe. And the keynote speakers was the Honorable Jay Clayton, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Also, Chris Rea, who is the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI's New York Field Office. And both of them gave such powerful speeches about what they do every day and why they do it. And also, we heard from Frank Tarantino with the DEA, who talked about what happened to Kiki Camarena. He was a DEA agent who was abducted and tortured brutally, horrifically, in 1985, and his body found a month after he went missing. And it is a powerful reminder of just how difficult and how excruciating the work is, especially for those who are dealing and fighting with the cartels, as Kiki Camarena was courageously doing. And I met some of the guys who were responsible for bringing his killer, who ordered his execution, to justice. So that was great that justice has been served to honor Kiki Camarena. But great foundation. Everybody check it out. The Federal Law Enforcement Foundation. They do incredible work.
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday, because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day. Yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.